So if you're fearful, but at the same time trying to feel motivated and inspired and pay attention to what's available around you, you can't pay attention for long enough.
DreAllDay.com.
What's going on, everybody? Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. Motivation. This week's motivation, what I want to talk about is worry and panicking, anxiety, fear, stress. You familiar with any of those emotions? You familiar with any of those feelings? Maybe you're living in it right now. Maybe you are bathing in one of those feelings right now. I want to tell you something off top, and then I'm going to explain it. Fear, anxiety, worry, stress, panic, none of those emotions or actions or whatever you want to call them, none of those have ever made anybody any money. They've never created an opportunity for anybody. They've never helped anyone advance in life. All those things, all those feelings ever do, all those emotions ever do to you is make you sick, make you weak. They slow you down. They cost you money. They cost you opportunities, and they limit you from expressing the full range of your abilities. So when you're fearful, you're not going to do everything you can possibly do. Why? Because you're afraid. When you're anxious, you can't possibly see every opportunity available to you because the anxiety is blinding you. It's like putting a pair of dark sunglasses on you when you're already in the house. It's hard to see everything because you're so anxious. When you're fearful, when you're worrying about one thing, your focus is on that. Therefore, you won't even see the opportunity right in front of you, to the left of you, to the right of you, the one behind you, the one above your head, because all you're focused on is that worry. When you're stressed out, your body gets weaker. The food that you eat, it travels through your bloodstream because the blood is pumped through your heart, right? So if your heart is feeling stress or anxiety or fear, when you eat food, that food goes into the bloodstream. It's absorbed into the bloodstream and it goes through your whole body. So then you're building weak muscles when you go to the gym. You're giving yourself weak lungs when you go ride your bike or do some cardio. You're making yourself weaker every time you take a breath when you're feeling stressed out or fearful or anxious or worrying. When you panic in any situation, if things are just really not going the way that you wanted them to go, and you panic because things just ain't turning out the way they need to, and time is pressing in on you, you feel like you're in a pressurized situation. Anytime that you panic, all you're doing is giving up all your options. See, panic means giving up all your options and run in the opposite direction. Fear, they say fear stands for false evidence appearing real. It also stands for forget everything and run. All right, just take everything you're going to do, turn around and run away. I was reading this book about Navy SEALs called Extreme Ownership, and the author of the book, he said once they had some, I believe they were Iraqi soldiers who weren't very well trained. They hadn't had as much formal training, not nearly as much as the American soldiers had. And they had these guys fighting with them once. And they went to fight, and the insurgents started shooting at us. This is Americans and the Iraqi soldiers working together. And these Iraqi soldiers who were so poorly trained, when they saw how many shots were coming at them, they just started running the opposite direction, shooting their guns backwards while they were running away, just to show what fear can do to you. And it sounds funny. It sounds kind of funny and really ridiculous, but this is a real life or death situation they were dealing with. And even though you may not be in a life or death situation, understand that your fear, your anxiety, your stress, your worrying, those energies, all they do is slow you down. They cost you money. And I know I've said this twice. They cost you opportunities. They cause you to not even be able to see what is in front of you. Even when there's a real option there, you can't see it because you're focused on the fear. The human brain, people, remember this, that the human brain can only focus on one thing at a time. It cannot focus on multiple things. See, multitasking is not actually a real thing. I talk about this in the mental workbook. Multitasking is really just task switching. You're switching from one task to another. You might be doing it very quickly, which our brains are strong enough to do, but you can never go deep enough to focus in long enough on any one thing when you're multitasking. So if you're fearful, but at the same time trying to feel motivated and inspired and pay attention to what's available around you, you can't pay attention for long enough, or get motivated long enough, or inspire long enough, or focus long enough on the good things, because you're switching back and forth between the anxiety and the stress and the worry and the fear and the panic. So you got to eliminate those emotions completely from your orbit. How do you do that? How can you just eliminate the emotion of fear? Now, you may need fear when it comes to a real life or death situation, when you're really physically threatened, when something is really threatening you. But most of the time, we're afraid is not of that, is it? We're afraid of somebody saying something bad to us on the internet, or we're afraid of missing a shot in a basketball game, or we're afraid of some banal thing, something that is not life or death, that's not going to actually physically hurt or harm us in any way, but we're just afraid of it because that fear that we've had since way back before we were civilized beings, that fear from our ancestors, it has to go somewhere. That fear has to focus on something. So you got to learn how to put the fear aside, even when the fear happens to pop up every now and then. Put the fear aside and focus deeply on where you want to go. Focus on your opportunities. Focus on your abilities. Focus on the options that are available to you. Focus on the ideas. Come up with some ideas. What can I do next? How can I take myself to the next level? Where's the opportunity in the situation that I'm in right now? When you feel fearful, there's an opportunity there somewhere. And it's not the opportunity to go backwards or the opportunity to forget everything and run. It's not the opportunity to retreat. That's not what I'm talking about, going backwards. I'm talking about going forwards. And you watching a video that I call this the weekly motivation that I put out every week. That don't mean go backwards. I'm not motivating you to retreat or go backwards or quit or forget everything in life. I want you to go and do something better with yourself. Make something better of yourself. You can't do that while you're fearful because you're focused on something that can hurt you, or that you think can hurt you. You can't do that while you're worried because you're thinking about the future. You're time traveling into the future about something that might happen and probably won't even happen the way you think it will. And even if it does, so what if it does? What can you do about it? Worrying won't change it. Now, if you're worrying about something that's inevitable, that's not going to change it. If you're worried about something that you can change, how about you focus on changing it instead of focusing on the fear? So this is what I want you to take from this week's motivation. This is the point that I'm going to give you right here. Fear, stress, worry, anxiety, and panic, and all those things, all they do is make you worse, slow you down, cost you money, destroy opportunities, and make you weak. So if you ever find yourself feeling any of these energies, you need to quickly, very, very quickly, get rid of them, get over them, and delete them, and don't let them come back. How can you do that? Read my book called The Mental Workbook, where I show you how to condition yourself to make sure these never happen to you again. These are sickening diseases. All right, I'm all for the cure. Work on your game.